episode 7 of the Target Score Brampton podcast. I know this is not a familiar voice off the top, and we'll get to that, but I'm your host, one of your co-hosts, D, and joining me is the king of the slap bomb, Joey Slattery. Welcome back, Joey. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Oh, sorry. Let me get to your level here. There we go. Now that we're eye to eye.
I hate it. Your hand was just sitting on that eject button, eh? You're just ready to do that.
I had to get it early, chirping early. No, I'm good, man. I'm a little disappointed. I know that I was the bottom of the barrel. I've heard everything you guys said about me last week. And, unfortunately, you couldn't do any better, but I'm glad to be here, D. First time I think we're seeing each other. I don't think we've ever hosted anything together, so this is fun. And on top of that, we haven't had any conversation like this since our date in Edmonton a few years ago. Don't know if you remember that. Edmonton, Alberta. Our great day at the West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. We were in sync. So I definitely didn't forget. No, that was our first time.
You paid for my roller coaster ride.
I forgot about that. That wasn't. I never thought I'd ride a roller coaster in a mall, and that was quite the memorable experience. I remember sending my wife all the videos and photos, and she's like, "You just had the most romantic date." And it didn't involve me, so you're definitely in her burn book, to say the least.
It's too bad. I really like Mrs. Balsera, but I understand. I mean, if it makes her feel better, you did make fun of my shirt, which I still own. I almost wore it today, but I don't know where it is. But no, it's great to be here, man. And I love coming on here with a guy like you who's been an OG with this league, right? And that's been the fun part. It's been awesome to be tuning into these Brampton podcasts. And hearing you and Matt Bonomi cut it up, you guys are hilarious. The chemistry's awesome, and the content has been great. There's no one that knows Brampton Honey Badgers basketball better than you guys, and you guys have been doing great. So I'm just gonna try and hold the weight of Matt Bonomi, which is going to be tough. So I hope I'm just like a handsomer, slightly more intelligent version.
Yeah, I was gonna say I went through my Rolodex and everybody said no to me, so I had to settle for you today. But that Matt and I are really grateful for the platform that you have set up for us to do this. So we appreciate all your wizardry behind the scenes to make sure that we look and sound proper on these. And I'm excited to finally do this to you. I feel like it's been far too long, for us to collaborate, and hopefully we'll do the podcast justice. And in case anyone's wondering, Matt Bonomi is doing his best Carmen Sandiego over the last week. He went to the Team Canada game. He's doing this whole West Coast. He went to a Mariners game as well. I think if you remember our conversation with Tyson, he'd alluded that he would be going in a couple of weeks, and so this is that couple of weeks. And Matt's, hopefully you enjoy the rest of your travels, and don't hit yourself on the way in.
He has been having the time of his life, right? Like,
he really is.
I'm so jealous. He was at a Mariners game, and then he went to the Team Canada, or Team Canada soccer game. And oh man, you guys out there just living your best lives, eh? The Brampton boys, but not as fun. I don't have the sign that he normally has back here, but he's got to add a couple of numbers on the other side now. This has been a bit of a rough patch here for the Brampton Honey Badgers, and a big game coming up Saturday. But it's funny how a record and how that record is perceived can change from team to team, because they're still second in the East. But at 7-5, I'm sure there's a little bit of sweat coming from the Honey Badgers right now after that flying start.
Yeah, start out 7-1, currently on a 4-game losing streak, so that puts them at 7-5. Sorry, I should have done Matt justice and had the sign above me, but unfortunately the Alliance are now just a game behind them, and I think they now split the season series, so that doesn't really help the Brampton Honey Badgers as well. And we talked about it on the last podcast that Niagara is starting to look like Niagara again with Khalil Ahmad. They gave a great fight to Scarborough and almost handed them their second loss of the year. And luckily for, the Stars, they were able to come out of that game. But yeah, it's been tough. I mean, I hate to make excuses, but, we've missed Sean East for 2 of these games as well. But to lose to Calgary and give them their only win of the season just really, really put an eyesore on the season so far.
Well, and the crazy thing is too, is Montreal, it was, and I've said this before on our podcast, the Target Score Winnipeg. I believe I've said it here as a guest when I was with Matt. Like, we can't count out the East is just outside of Scarborough right now, who also made me look like an idiot because last time I was on the show, I was like, yeah, Brampton's the team to beat. Scarborough doesn't have as complete a team as Brampton does. They've made some major additions and, that helps. But, you look at Montreal and Ottawa, like I don't want to play either of those teams in the playoffs. There's just a fight to those teams. And like, look at Montreal. And, it's funny because I was talking with our colleague Mo Khan, who does the play-by-play for the Montreal Alliance. And that was one of the things I said to him too. I'm like, I wouldn't want to see them. Like, I feel like they're about to peak here. And you'll find their rhythm. And sure enough, they won like 3 of their last 4. They're at 500. But that's what I talk about, the record and the perception of the record. Brampton at 7-5 is still in great shape, right? They're 3.5 games back from Scarborough. And, I don't think now the conversation is they're not eyeing Scarborough. Now you're trying to stave off the Montreal Alliance and keep them at bay because now they're 1 game behind you. But, this is a Montreal team who's kind of flown under the radar, have kind of collected their wins quietly. And now they find themselves in prime playoff position and they're trying to get in that conversation for a conference title as well. But right now with, I think we realized how important Sean East is. Like we knew how important it is, but when you see him away from the floor, how much it affects the offense and how much attention he takes from the defense that allows other guys to find their spots that, they were still there, just harder to get. You can put more pressure on other guys, but when you have a point guard that is so fast, pushes that pace, giving you those transition opportunities, really saw the hole there. And then further to that, like we still haven't seen Jameer Nelson Jr., who's going to do wonders for this team, particularly on the defensive end. But who knows when he gets here? Like randomly, I'm floating around on YouTube and I come across Puerto Rican pro basketball, and he's out there having a heck of a season with his team. Like he's averaging in the last few games like 20 plus points a game. Like he's one of the best players in the league, and they're a spring summer league as well, right? So this goes right till the end of July. So it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out. I don't know the details of, when that season would end and what that release looks like to come over here, because in Winnipeg, like that's one of the things that's been the storyline out in Winnipeg. Xavier Moon, when is he going to be cleared to play? Like there's still some issues with his Russian team and his release there. So, you just hope it all goes smoothly with Jameer Nelson Jr. and he gets there. But I just don't think Brampton's at the stage now where it's like, okay, well, we'll sit back and he'll get here. And, we're going to be back to where we were. I think there's going to be some time here where they're going to have to figure it out as they're moving along.
Yeah, what's interesting is, you talk about the offense and, while it does look different without Sean East, that game Calgary, they still shot 51% from the field and they were still able to put up points. It's just I think it was the third quarter that really killed them. They gave up 34 points in that third quarter, which really, it's held them back in that game. And then Vancouver, they held their own in the first half, and then it was the second half that, this team is just so deep, right? Mitch Creek, Tyree Samuel, right? Even, all these guys that, they just showed their depth and they were able to, just stomp curb the Brampton Honey Badgers in that second half. And to me, it's more on the defensive side of the ball that's been concerning, right? In these last 5 games, they've gone down to, minus 8.6 plus minus. And then they've been this for a team that was the second best in giving up points. They're now the second last in just the last 5 games, not overall, but just in the last 5 games during this 4-game losing streak. So that's where I've seen the biggest downfall, because I think prior to their Montreal game, the first one, they hadn't given up 100 points, and now in their last 5 games they've given up 100 points. So that's where the biggest difference is. And I don't really again, Sean is the only guy that's really changed, and he's what, top 3 in the league in steals, but other than that, the team's been really good outside of him.
Well, and it's the ebbs and flows, right? Like, you're not going to go undefeated in a season, right? So as much as you're onto that hot start, it's this first real bit of adversity, and it feels heavier. Like, that's the weird part about this season, because you're almost better off having a slower start and building that momentum, trying to peak at the right time. But we're only halfway through the season, and you're still 2 games above 500. So you're not hitting the panic button, but it almost feels that way sometimes because of how quickly things can change. And it was the same thing for Vancouver. Like, Vancouver was rolling, and now they lose that game to Scarborough, and then they come to Winnipeg and they lose that one. And now they fall from first to second. And suddenly it feels like the urgency's, like through the roof. Meanwhile, Winnipeg was just kind of rolling around at 500 for a while, and then they've strung a couple of wins together, have the same record as Vancouver, but it's a totally different vibe in Winnipeg right now as they've strung together 4 wins to kind of separate themselves a little bit, right? So that's I think the uniqueness of this league is you can't be too comfortable at any point, even leading up to the end of the playoffs, right? When those playoff races started, because at the time where you want to get comfortable, like say if you're a Scarborough and your record is like it is right now it's the test is to stay sharp moving into the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting. I think with Brampton too, in that loss to Calgary, I mean, you're playing a very desperate team that wants to make a statement, right? Against a team like Brampton. Like if they win that against Brampton, as opposed to say like Ottawa, there's a much bigger morale boost with that win. So you were getting the best Calgary. They just had Armani Chaney, who was released from Winnipeg, wants to prove himself in Calgary. He played really well, especially in that fourth quarter, in target score time as well. So it's you can't. Every team is capable of winning in this league, and I think we lost that a little bit because we thought at first Saskatoon and Calgary were just like out. Now Saskatoon is third in the West. They've strung together, I don't know how many wins. And Calgary now has a 1 win under their belt. They're a little bit slow, but they can still beat any team in this league. And now there's a huge test looking ahead to Saturday because it's Super Saturday. I think this is going to be the best schedule day in the CEBL, where you have the top 4 teams playing against one another, and they're both conference rivals. So you have a chance, if you're Brampton, to really make a statement against Scarborough, who's been rolling. And let's give credit where credit's due. I mean, this is a strong team that just seems to keep getting stronger. Kat Barber's now back too, which is a huge addition for that team. But this is a team that no one had any tape on. They're all first-time CBL guys until, so like Kat Barber comes back with a little bit of experience with Scarborough. But now that you're at the halfway point, everybody's played them about one time, right? So now you have some tangible experience with them on how to play them. What are they bringing to the table offensively? What are their weaknesses defensively? So I think Brampton comes in better prepared than they did the last time they played Scarborough. But it's going to be, I'm really excited for this Saturday because, between the Vancouver Bandits taking on Winnipeg after what happened the last time they played in Winnipeg, I mean, that has its own storyline that we'll get into in our podcast. But then you've got Scarborough Brampton. And 2 weeks ago, I said Brampton was the team to beat. And now I think it's undoubtedly the Scarborough Shooting Stars. And, Miles Powell and what he's doing out there is just absolutely phenomenal. He gets a lot of the attention, but Frank Mitchell's another guy who's really been a huge addition to that team and a great player to watch in the CBL, an intense guy. They bring their own set of problems, and I think Brampton's going to have their hands full. But if you win that one, I mean, now you get another game closer in the standings, so you break that from 3.5 games back to 2.5 games back. But I think they're due for a big win. They're in need of a big win. I think the intensity in this one's going to be ramped up a little bit because of that urgency of the last few games.
Yeah, and I think, Matt brought it up too, this Brampton team's kind of had a target on their back since, having start they did, all the buzz surrounding the Mark Cuban news. I think some of these teams, like you said with Calgary, you're going to see the best version of all these teams because now, you're on the, upper echelons of the rankings and the teams that are in this league, right? And I mean, you haven't even mentioned Khalil Miller, and we're probably going to see the debut of Jay Scrubb, who's a 2020 NBA second round draft pick as well. Like this team somehow, the rich get richer somehow, right? In this league. And
there's more signings coming. That's not it. I hear there's going to be some other big names coming down the pipe. So it just seems like, Scarborough's they're the hot spot right now. They're getting everybody, but Khalil Miller, to your point, like another guy with CBL experience coming back. Like now you've got this kind of nucleus where, they're coming into a team that's established its own little culture, but it also brings the history of that team too, right? Like what they've been building towards over the years. But yeah, we can't undervalue Khalil Miller. That's a huge Canadian addition for Scarborough.
Absolutely. Well, looking at schedule ahead, we've talked about Super Saturday. The Brampton Honey Badgers playing the Scarborough Shooting Stars, who've only got one loss in their record. With the additions, and obviously Brampton's going to come very hungry. They've had a lot of time to think about the last couple of games, so that should be entertaining. I don't feel like I went to do it a little justice if we didn't talk about the Western Conference side of things. Your team 4-game winning streak currently, Vancouver looking the way it did. What are you expecting in the game, and how excited are you for that matchup?
Oh, fireworks, man. Like honestly, like if I were to look at it, the villains of the CEBL right now are the Scarborough Shooting Stars and the Vancouver Bandits. It just kind of feels like the aura around these teams are, them against everybody else. Winnipeg was that team. I think a little overlooked at the start of the season because of that 500 record, but you take that layer off and look at those losses. They were all within one possession. I think their biggest loss of the year was 6 points, right? And they're allowing, I think, the lowest or second lowest amount of points per game. Now they're up, I think, second highest points per game for themselves, right? Hovering at around 100. But this is, Vancouver came out of the gate flying, and then they had Mitch Creek. I don't think he'll be in the lineup for this game. I think he'll be back off to Australia to join the national team.
Correct.
But I mean, from the suspension of Kyle Julius and still awaiting to see what comes of that, and the whole melee that happened, like frustrations were high. I don't think Winnipeg is 33 points better than Vancouver. I think the wheels fell apart for Vancouver a little bit. Emotions got the best of him. Even Jalen House, he had 42 points and set the franchise record for points in a game. But you could tell even that guy was bothered, right? And he missed last game too. So I think Vancouver has redemption on their mind. I think not only Vancouver, like the team, but the fans. And if you've ever been to a game in Vancouver, it's also a pretty hostile environment. I think they have one of the better fan bases in this league, and it goes a little underrated. But that game, Vancouver hosting Winnipeg after the game that they had, and trying to even up that season series because it's going to be a very important game come playoff positioning. I think both these teams are playoff bound. But it might come down to these games. They play 4 times this year. They've already played once. This will be the second time. I mean, this is going to be popcorn for the rest of the year. But, Winnipeg has been very good at keeping their emotions in check. Teddy Allen has been phenomenal this year. And, the thing with Teddy Allen is, I say this all the time. If he wasn't known for his scoring, we'd be calling him a defensive specialist. I mean,
Mm.
the way he's been leading the league in steals and how he's been disrupting defenses, his work on the boards. This is a guy that kind of unfairly gets a reputation of only being a scorer. He's far more complete than that. But the thing that's really, impressed me is he's understood that what this opportunity is coming back to Winnipeg, having a chance to play for the team that had to release him for behavioral issues in the past. Right. He has been phenomenal on the floor. He hasn't been getting it in with refs or coaches. There's times where you can tell he doesn't want to come off or he's upset with something, but he's not acting out, and he's been a very supportive teammate, and I think that has really set the tone for the Sea Bears. Mike Rainbow has done a wonderful job, the head coach. He's really changed the culture. This went from a very offensive focused team last year under Mike Taylor to a very defense focused team, and it shows up in the stats. But he is a guy, gritty to pretty. He likes to get those steals and force those steals on the defensive side and run them into points in transition. And they've done a really, really good job in that regard. So things are going well for Winnipeg. As I said, they didn't have the flying start. They had those losses early, but they never really lost their cool. I remember asking the head coach, like, is there a level of, disappointment or frustration losing these close games? And he said, no, you'll drive yourself nuts because you can look at every single possession and try to figure out which one is the one you lost the game on, right? And I think the lesson is every possession's important. But now Winnipeg can't get too comfortable. And I think this is a big test and a good opportunity for Vancouver. They're now going into their house. Vancouver's lost some key games here to find themselves in second place. Now they're trying to keep Saskatoon away, who we thought were going to be, a wash. And that's another team where I was like, their record at the time doesn't reflect how good this team is. I think they're going to be better than that 0-3 or 0-4 start, whatever they had. And now they're at 6-5. They've got a winning record. They're starting
Winners
to
of their
roll.
last 4 too.
Right. And then they're going to be in Winnipeg next week as well. So, after the game in Vancouver. So, Winnipeg can't take their foot off the gas by any stretch right now. And they can't get too comfortable with these sizable wins. They just beat Edmonton too by 20-something points. And I think the danger for Winnipeg right now is just keep even keeled, keep that competitive spirit up. But and regardless of what happens in this game, win or lose, keeping that focus. But Vancouver's coming in hungry, and I'm really excited to see the welcome for Winnipeg when they. I wish I could be at Langley Event Center for that one. I like I said, it's going to be tough because these are 2 really, really good games happening, and it's going to be an awesome doubleheader. It's just too bad that these aren't on national TV. I would have loved a CEBL doubleheader national TV, but I urge everyone, if you've, take the Saturday night, get on CBC Sports YouTube or CEBL Plus or whatever, watch these games. You will not be disappointed. man, watch it on your phone. Take it out. Go to a patio if it's nice weather. Have it around a fireplace, man. Let's start a bonfire. Get the TV out there. Crack a few cold ones and watch these games. It's going to be awesome. I'm super stoked. If you couldn't tell.
You just turned this into an episode of CBL Weekly. What a plug. That was
Oh, buddy,
fantastic.
put this on the shopping channel.
So you avoided the one question on everyone's mind though. Do we see Xavier Moon make his debut on Saturday, or do they hold
Uh,
off and wait till Tuesday at home
it's
against the Mamba?
Yeah, no, honestly, they would have had him playing 2 games ago. This is not a Sea Bears thing. This is completely a clearance issue with FIBA, and him coming over from Russia to Canada. So they're still trying to figure it. The Winnipeg Sea Bears right now are just waiting for this. It's completely out of their control. As soon as the stamp of approval's there, you will see him in a jersey in the starting lineup. They cannot wait to get this guy out here. One of the keys, though, I think for Mike Rainbow, he was saying the hardest part is like trying to pretend he doesn't exist, because right now they don't know when he's going to be back, and they don't want the team like kind of waiting on that, right? So they're really treating this like he won't ever play for them, just so they can keep that level of competitiveness up. But don't let that fool you. As soon as Xavier Moon is cleared to play, he's physically healthy. Everything else is in tune. He's looked great in practice. He's looked great in warmups. He's been supportive on the bench. He's a guy that's been very active on the group chats, and like keeping in line with the team. Even when he was playing in the playoffs in Russia, he's ready to go. I've talked to him. He's excited to be back in the CBL. It's been a long time since we've seen him. He's got a reputation that precedes him, and that does not seem to bother him one bit. And I'm curious to see just how good this Winnipeg team could be with him in the lineup. But I wouldn't say don't expect him on Saturday, but like don't expect him either. I think it's going to be it'll be a true game time decision based on his availability.
Well, there is a reason we call them slap bombs, and I'm looking forward to our first slap bomb on Saturday morning when you tweet out or you announce to the masses that Moon is making his debut. And I expect it to come from you.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, because it's better for the league. I'm not a. I think people here know I'm not. I'm not a homer. But Xavier Moon in the league is better, whether it's Winnipeg or anywhere else. I'm just excited to watch him play. I'm a huge fan of this league, and I just love good basketball. And he epitomizes that at the CBL level for sure.
Well, there's someone that's certainly looking forward to Saturday and Saturday's matchup, and it's our next guest. So let's get to our conversation with the newest kid on the block, Keon Ambrose-Hylton. It's now time to welcome our special guest here on Target Score Brampton, the podcast, the man on the inside, Keon Ambrose-Hylton. Keon, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.
So you're coming off a road trip. How are you feeling? Are you a little jet lag coming back into the city? How are things on your end?
No, I'm feeling good. I'm excited. These 5 days on the road or 5, 6 days, and it's a little bit of a toll. Or being in hotels all day, being on the road. You're not really in your home like how it is. But no, well, I'm good though. I'm good though. Got a lot of new guys on the team, figuring things out with the team. But overall, we're staying positive, just trying to make sure we figure out the little things, the simple things. So then once we figure out the simple things, it makes the more complicated things of the teams and the games much easier.
This could be a weird question. I'm not trying to glorify or find the silver lining in this, but it was such a strong start to the season. And now you guys find yourself in a little bit of adversity. And I kind of look at the timing. It's probably a good time to have it because you can make the adjustments, and you'd rather be peaking in July as opposed to May. But what's been the learning experience through this now that you guys have been through a few losses together? You've been on the road. How do you kind of use this experience in these last 4 games to try and improve yourselves and make the necessary changes on the home stretch?
Yeah, I would just say you gotta make every game seem like a big game. You gotta make every opponent seem like they're the opponent, that who you're guarding, who you're matched up with. You gotta take every game like if it's our last game of the season. Because I feel like beginning of the year, guys are new. You come into a new team, new season, trying to prove yourself. And we did that at the beginning, and I just feel like teams see that of us. So then every team we play now, we're getting the best of that team because we've had a great beginning series of great season going on. We have a lot of great players. So I feel like every team plays this thing and we got to play our best. And we got to do the same whoever we go up against.
Every guy on this team has just talked about Serta and the culture that he's established and how much fun he is to play for. Can you speak to that and why you guys were able to have the start that you did under his regime?
Yeah, Serta, he's a great coach. He's very understanding of players from all levels, who played in the NBA, who's played overseas, who's just starting their career. So he's really great at communicating what he wants from you. We communicating what he wants to see on the floor without making you feel like you're put in a box. Because there's a lot of coaches who, once you get to the team, they're telling you, saying, "Hey, listen, you're not shooting any threes. Hey, you're not gonna start the offense. You're not gonna put the ball on the floor." But he tells you what you're great at and little things that you can do to make yourself go to the next level, make yourself even better with the strengths you have, and then work on your weaknesses throughout practices and show a lot of film of what things work. So he does a great job of communicating with the players and does a great job of being understanding. So then guys don't feel like when he's talking to us, it's more of just like oh, he's just talking because he thinks he knows everything. He's talking to us because he's been training guys who we're trying to be like, where we're trying to get to. He's practiced and coached guys just like us. So we know what he's trying to tell us, that it's not about just the coach just trying to do whatever he wants to get money for the next season. He's trying to make us better because he wants us to get to the next level with his coaching.
How much did you know about Alex Serta ahead of this? And what from a coaching standpoint? I know there's numerous reasons why you would join Brampton, but from a coaching perspective, like what was the sell for you to go to Brampton for your own development? And how do you think in the first half of the season he's helped you develop your game, in ways you might not have noticed it before joining Brampton?
Yeah, I think it was just one, and two is the freedom and professionalism. I feel like he gives me a lot of freedom to understand that I'm trying to work on my threes, trying to work on my perimeter offense and defense, and we're doing all sorts of that. When I'm in the game, I'll play the four, play the five. When I'm in practice, I play the four and the five of being able to stretch the offense, stretch my game out. And then the second thing is the professionalism, how he takes care of us, and not just him, but also the staff too, the assistant coaches. They do a great job of showing guys film individually. He does a great job of doing certain groups for their positions and for their strengths. And then when practice comes, we're working on little things in games instead of doing a whole entire 5-on-5 full court, going at each other. We're doing things more professional, working on certain things half court and adjusting certain things because it's a long season and we have multiple games. There's no need to go up and down the court 5-on-5. So he's very professional with these sorts of things and recovery. He's very serious about recovery. So when it comes to our off days, we're not just sitting on our butts. We're telling us to go outside, do little activation, little mobility. So I feel like I've never seen that from other programs of just how professional it is, as well as that freedom that he gives me. So then I feel more comfortable on the court.
Speaking of a great coach, you had to leave a pretty good one in Edmonton and Jordan Baker. Now, I've heard several sides of this story, so I got to hear your side. Was it Sean that got you to come to Edmonton? Was it vice versa? Were you paying attention to that whole story? How did we get both of you to come to Brampton?
Man, I'm telling you, it was. I mean, it was two things, honestly. Like even before I heard anything about Branch or anything, like I told my agent, like, "Hey, if it's possible, because me since the second year of high school, I've been in America. Like, I've been playing in America. I've been playing in Tennessee, then Ohio, then straight from my 4 years of high school, I went straight to college, playing in Alabama and SMU, and then after that, I went to Edmonton. Then after that, I went to Belgium for 9 months. So like I haven't touched home base in a very long time. When I do, it's maybe in one sitting, maybe like 2 weeks, maybe a month. So like each year, I probably go home maybe 2 to 3 times. No, I'll probably say 2 times. So the opportunity of how well I did last season CBL, I told my agent talking about just hoping that if there's any team in Ontario that would be a good fit for me, I would definitely hear them out because it wasn't even the coaches or wasn't even anything Baker said that wronged me. It was really just the fact that I have a chance to be close to family, and my mom, she's been to 70% of my games in my career. So it'd be great to have an easier trip for her rather than having to fly to Alberta to watch me play. So then once I heard that Brampton was interested in me, I thought it was a great idea. And then talking to Alex Serta, hearing that he had going on, I thought it was a great fit to look at.
Well, that was similar to David Wencat last year too, right? I mean, he played Winnipeg the year before that and had a great season in Winnipeg, but I think a big draw was being able to play closer to home in Brampton. That said, going back to Sean East, you've now played with him, well, basically your whole CEBL career. But you played with him in Edmonton last year, and even last year going to this year, because it was kind of similar, but like flipped, right? Like Edmonton
Yeah.
had a bit of a slow start, and then you guys went on this like legacy run to get into the playoffs. You give Calgary a big scare, on the road last year. And Sean East really, blew up on the scene last year and was part of the MVP conversation. And many think, he probably was worthy of that as well. But what have you learned about playing with Sean East the second now that you've been there for 2 years? And looking at the recent games too, you didn't have him for a couple of games. How much does the game change when he's not there? And what are the biggest benefits for you playing with him?
Yeah, I think for sure when playing with him, like he's a pro. He's a pro. Like he's a great job of being assertive on the court. He makes tough shots, and he's someone that we've relied on coming into these games. Now you can see that when he's not on the team compared to when he is, the offense is more structured and more of ball moving and guys getting better shots when he is on the court compared to when he's not. I think also we have to get used to not having on the court because obviously, he's a great offensive point guard, and he's a great presence on the court, so he has the ball in his hand a lot. So our games of us not having him in the game is us more getting used to having different guys make reads, make playmaking. So I think that's what we had to figure out. But shoot, playing with him, man, is fun. I'm telling you, because when you think he ain't gonna make it, he's gonna make it. And when you think he's not gonna make it, he makes it again. Like his 3-point shooting, his touch around the rim, his dribbling ability, getting through defense, like it is something to look at. And I'm very happy to be on his team and be one of his teammates because he's very supportive. He's, all these accolades, all these point scoring. Honestly, for me, it doesn't feel like people may say, "Oh, he hogs the ball because he's getting 30 points a game, 28." Where it doesn't feel like that. When I'm playing with him on the court, setting him ball screens, getting to the rim, he's looking to find me. He's looking to give me the ball. He's happy when I'm scoring, when I'm getting rebounds. He's always there to try to encourage me. So like, he's a great team to play with as well.
I want to meet those people because I think he's like top 10 in assists and he's averaging the most
That's what I'm
assists that he's ever
saying.
averaged. So he's certainly, trying to make you guys all better and it shows in his game as well. You've briefly talked about how important it was for you to play close to home. I look back at your 2021 season with Alabama and I was looking at some of the names in that tournament, guys that we're familiar with, Javon Blair, Ruggsy, Lafile, your teammate, Matthew Moncrief. When you kind of look back on your journey, playing this game in this country and now full circle, you're playing it in a professional league in your backyard. I mean, how cool is it? And do you ever expect this dream to live out where you lived?
Man, I think about it literally all the time, thinking it's crazy that a simple basketball can take you around the world, meet so many different people, have so many friends, all connected to this single basketball. And I'm just so grateful and thank to the Lord that I'm able to travel the world. I'm able to, get paid for this. I'm able to, you know, do things that people wouldn't be able to do. Like I talk to my family members, and like I'm one of the star people at the reunion because they're all like, "Oh, it's Keon, he's 6'9", tall guy." Oh, you was just in Belgium. Oh, you're about to, have different accolades, and like they're all like, they're all chanting to me, texting me. So it's like, it's a blessing for sure. Being able to see even old teammates, like seeing Ma when he came into our team, I was super excited. Seeing Addison go to Calgary, seeing different guys at Charles Bediako at Toronto Shooting Stars, like seeing all my old teammates, playing in this league and then seeing them being so successful, I'm so amped. That's why I'm so excited to play Toronto Shooting Star, this coming up week. I'm excited to play all sorts of teams in this league because a lot of guys who are my age are now coming into this league and now, you know, continuing to do great, and I'm just excited to play against them for sure.
I have a two-part question on this topic. Is it more fun playing professionally at home for all those reasons that you just said? Is there a little bit of an extra spark? And do you think that having a pro league will allow, because you said you had to go to the States for a lot of years at a very young age, and the amount of, investment that's being put into, development here at home. I just saw Canada Basketball posting about Simon Hildebrand and how he was basically, brought up within Manitoba and, and even playing U Sports basketball before going off to the NCAA. But do you think we're going to see more of that now? And how much more fun is it to have the opportunity to play pro?
Oh man, for sure. I mean, I feel like CBL is fastly growing, in popularity. I mean, when I was in Belgium, a lot of the other imports who were from America, they were talking about coming to this league because they were hearing about how how great time it is because it's after all the big long seasons, right before all the Euro League, NBA. It's before that, and it's like they put you in a good position. They give you what you need. They give you the amount of freedom, and it's really good basketball. You're playing. You're not playing against just some random guys that you would see in other leagues. You're playing against NBA guys, big EuroLeague guys, big guys coming up. So like this league is very good, not just for Canadians but also for the world because this puts you on sites that I honestly don't feel like other leagues would put you in a short amount of time. Like CBL is only 4 months, and yet once it's over, you see so many guys signing great contracts compared to other leagues where you'd be there for a longer period of time and you wouldn't get the same kind of looks. And I think that just has to do with the fan base and the players. The fan base is here. I mean, when I was in Edmonton, when I landed in Edmonton, the first day, 3 people already noticed me talking about, "Hey, are you in Edmonton Stingers? Hey, great support. We're happy to see you." And then here at Brampton, same thing. You have people saying, "Hey, how tall are you?" 6'9". Hey, you play with the Honey Badgers? Yep. Oh, you see, like it's just that kind of thing where it's like the fan bases in each city and each province is getting more and more popular, and they're loving the basketball, especially the fact that yes, there's more Canadians coming into this league because a lot of Canadians will go overseas or go into certain leagues that they get lost in because there's some kind of politics when it comes to those Euro leagues and those other kind of leagues with their own people, just like how CBL is, where yeah, Canadians they feel that love, they feel that appreciation being in this league, and I'm happy that this league exists now.
I will say, D, you and I have both been in Edmonton. In fact, before you came on the show, we were talking about our romantic day in Edmonton once upon a time when I happened to be there for work, and D was doing a national game in Edmonton last year. And I have to say, Winnipeg obviously is a great atmosphere. I feel very fortunate to be
Yeah.
working here. But Edmonton, man, like to me, between Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Vancouver, like those are some pretty intense atmospheres to play in. And Edmonton's fan base, like, and I mean, you played there, right? It's like one of the few arenas in the CBL where like the branding is the team. Like you walk in there, like one of the most intimidating things about Edmonton is when you walk into that gym and you see the 2 championship banners that hang there year round, right? And then the fan base, like people are wearing the Stinger stuff, t-shirts, hats, and all this stuff. Like I imagine it's pretty fun because I know from a fan standpoint and a work standpoint, there's not many better venues than Edmonton in sports in general in Canada.
Yeah, no, yeah, for real. No, it's definitely fun. I mean, yeah, living in downtown Edmonton, you can feel the fans when you're walking by and they're saying, "Hey, go Edmonton, go Stingers." Like, yeah, like I feel like those provinces definitely have more support just because obviously here you have the Toronto Raptors, the NBA team, so it's kind of
Yeah.
tougher for Brampton. But I would say for sure, like yeah, those like yeah, Calgary, Winnipeg, they all do a great job. Even Edmonton, they do a great job of marketing and be exciting for the games because obviously there's not a whole lot more there in terms of basketball. So that's why this league is so great. Like those kinds of places like Alberta, Saskatchewan, and all these kind of places where they're not as known for big cities like here in Ontario. So having those kind of leagues makes it even better because then fans will be like, hey, you know what? The finals is in Alberta. Let's go there. Hey, you know what? This city's also great too, and then it makes you want to come there for more. So this CBL is doing a great job, not just for players, but also for tourists and fans as well.
You did a great job of teasing this Saturday's game. Joey's kind of anointed it as Super Saturday because we're seeing the 2 best in the West play, and then obviously you and Scarborough going head to head. Do you feel a little bit of extra motivation knowing that team's only lost 1 game so far? Obviously, they've made some additions to that team that have pushed them up to another level as well. Talk about the challenge of entering Scarborough and how personal it might mean to you.
Oh, I mean, since day one, I mean, no matter how this team did, even if they're the worst team in the league, I'd have them circled on my calendar because it's not just the the record of them, but also just the players and then the city. Like, I'm from Scarborough, my grandma, she's there and all that. And then plus just like a lot of players on that team, Charles Bediako, one of my close friends that I'm excited to play against. I haven't seen Charles in so long. Haven't played with him in a very long time. So going up against him is very fun. And then but overall, their team is a very good team, and I'm excited to play against them. They have a lot of great individual players, high scores, high rebounders, a lot of effort. But I'm not going to go into the game not confident, and I'm confident in our team that we have some challenging stuff, but I feel like with this week of us understanding each other and understand what we need to do, what we need to focus on, having a full week of being with our new players and all gelling together with the right defense and the right offense for us, that going into Saturday, it's going to be a whole different matchup.
Actually, Scarborough is one of the few venues I've not experienced a CBL game, but like on TV, it kind of looks a little bit like it's like a Drew League feel, right? Like playing at the Pan Am Center.
For sure.
But, you talked about the big cities of the West and, being exposed to basketball. But on the flip side, in Ontario, like the cities around Toronto, or like the neighborhoods like Scarborough or the borough, I should say, have their own representation. So as much as you've got the Toronto Raptors out there, this kind of gets like a layer deeper. Like Toronto's basketball culture cannot be understated with the amount of players that are playing professionally outside of the NBA. I think sometimes we lose that spotlight because there are so many Canadians in the NBA now, but there's a lot of talent. And you talk to those NBA guys, like they talk about dudes like you, right? And coming up playing against these high level athletes that are playing at the highest levels elsewhere in the world. But what does it mean for you to go and play in these where, you can go home to Scarborough, but playing for Brampton and having that kind of like, who's the king of Ontario in that sense when you have the passion of a city like Brampton and Scarborough going head to head? Is it special for you as someone who grew up in the Toronto system, being able to do this and kind of represent your neighborhood or beat your neighborhood in this case?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's always great. That's what I'm saying. I have it circled. Even if Scarborough was the worst team, they haven't won a game yet, I would still have them circled on my calendar because playing against them, coming back hometown, even last year when we played Scarborough Shooting Stars, I probably had 50 guests coming to the game because that's my hometown, and I'm super excited to play against them. We played against them last year. We had a great game when I was in Edmonton when we played there the one time. I had a great game, and we had a great matchup, and it was a fun game as well. So the same thing's going to happen Saturday where it's going to be one of those games this season that people are going to look at and be like, yo, that game right there had everything needed for a 5-star. So I'm excited to play against Scarborough. I'm excited to play against these players because I know it's going to be one of those games that, I'm going to text Charles after the game for sure. Talk about how this went for sure. But overall, Toronto has amazing players, amazing talent. And I think that just comes with the fact that we were just tired in high school. Because I remember in high school, you had to go to America to have that competition. You had to go to America to have that hunger for better opportunity. And I feel like for sure now guys see that Canadians have that hunger. You see it in the Olympics. You see the lineups we have. So I feel like it's to be a different system. And this coming up season, NBA, Olympics, the next coming up Olympics is going to be a different sight for sure.
I wish I had my Tony Kornheiser Canadian flag right now. I just want to be waving my little patriotic flag.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Joey, I think we found our social clip for this week's episode. Put it on a poster,
as Matt
right?
Nomi would say.
The Saturday's going to be fireworks. Well, speaking of fireworks, I think it's time for our Target Time segment here on Target Score Brampton podcast. Joey, are you ready?
Always.
Keon, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get to it. All right, so this is our slowest, most relaxed form of rapid fire you will ever see. It's so weird because I'm used to Matt saying that, so it's weird kind of hearing me say it.
You got to do some work this week, huh?
I actually have to work
Matt
this
would
week.
What's his thing? Not so fun when the rabbit has the gun, eh, D?
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Okay. I thought we lost Keon there for a second. I got scared of Target Time there. All right.
Hey, man.
I will lead things off. You've talked about Toronto. You've talked about how much you love Toronto. Now, besides its summers, because I feel like everybody says summers are their answers, but what do you think is the most underrated thing about Toronto?
Oh, for sure. Oh, see, I was gonna say the summertime, but like definitely the fall. The fall. Don't ask me about the winter. I hate snow. Don't ask me about the winter. I hate snow. I'm the only anomaly. Everyone says, "Oh, but you're from Canada." Nope, I hate snow. I'm a big fall guy. Love the fall. Love the food here. Very underrated.
I will say too, Toronto, like I lived there briefly, and I will say Toronto winters are underrated, the worst winters in Canada. And I've lived in all the coldest cities in Canada.
Bad.
Man,
I would do -40 in Edmonton before I would do -8
Easily.
in Toronto, man.
So-
It's just
so
like
then-
totally.
So, Keon, I gotta ask you: are you talking to your agent and saying like, "Take me to the warmest place possible come November"?
I told my mom that in high school. I told my mom, I want to go play in America. She's like, why? I'm like, I'm tired of the snow here. The first place I went to was Tennessee. Like, Tennessee was the first place I went to. Hey, there was no snowflake that touched the floor of Tennessee. Like, I cannot do snow. I hate that it's cold. I hate that it starts traffic. I hate that slush. Everything about it.
That's funny.
What an endorsement!
Don't get me started.
Come to Toronto, except in the winter. Okay, so I'll flip this. What's the most overrated thing about Toronto?
Ooh,
Oh, overrated.
Like you're bringing in someone that, you know, they're coming to visit
You're gonna
Toronto for
make
the first
somebody
time.
angrier.
You know, they have their plans, and you're like, you know, I know everybody hypes this up, but like, just skip this. There's better stuff to do.
Oh, probably the Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls.
oh damn!
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. I've had multiple friends from the U.S. come to visit, and everyone, it's like, okay, yeah, let's do Toronto, let's do all this stuff, but we have to do Niagara Falls. Maybe it's because I grew up in Ontario. I didn't grow up anywhere near Niagara Falls. Like I grew up in Timmins, which is like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 hours north. But like you just end up kind of at Niagara Falls, and it's like super cool. Like it is awesome, like to see it, but it's like you see it and it's done, right? Like
Exactly.
maybe we're spoiled, but I'm so funny you say that, because it is tied to Toronto. Like, oh, we're going to Toronto, let's go to Niagara Falls. Like it's like next door. Like it's a bit of a hike too.
It's like 40, 50 minutes away, and then it's like the places around the Niagara Falls kind of tacky. Like you have the tacky stores, tacky little games and stuff. It's like a big arcade of like a ghetto. What's it called again? It's a ghetto. The arcade place, Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
Dude, you know where you're never signing? The Niagara River.
I was gonna
Lines.
say.
I'm gonna get a rude comment from them.
Yeah, the Niagara River Lines are not going to be happy with this episode. That's for sure. I just want to be clear. I do love Niagara, but I do like there's this aura about the falls that's just like, from a tourist standpoint, like if you're not from Ontario, I guess, like it's just like Niagara Falls is like this must-see thing, but I'm like, it's really like the falls itself, like a few minutes, like where you just kind of like take it in, and then like you go. Because I agree, like I don't like the touristy stuff. I'm like, I'm just in and out when I've been there, right? Like let's see the falls and like let's go see other cool things. Because like even in Niagara, you got like the wine region and stuff too. Like there's so many cool things to do out there. But like the falls itself, it's like you don't need to plan an entire day to see it. Like take 15 minutes and out.
Just drive past it.
That's awesome. Okay, I like that answer. I did not see that coming, but I like it.
Speaking of road trips, I did some Instagram deep diving, and I saw that you and your girl like to do road trip karaoke. So my question to you is, if you have to sing one song bar for bar and not mess up, what song would it be?
See, the thing, I'm the worst with that because I'm terrible at songs. I'm terrible. The thing about that video is we were doing a road trip from Dallas all the way to Toronto to get my car back, and I was so tired that she started playing music, and I was just like half asleep just singing any kind of song she was playing. But I mean, off the top of my head, because I'm terrible at songs, it would probably have to be the Jackson 5 ABC. Because
I
that's
love
the
that.
easiest and most simple song I could probably think, but I'm terrible. So I'm more of a podcast guy, so I can't wait to see more of your guys' podcasts. I'm a podcast guy, you know, hands down.
That's dope.
Oh, that's what I like.
That's like when I take a road trip with my wife, as soon as I turn on the podcast, that's their time to take a nap. And then when she wakes up, I got to get back into the music. So I'm with you, man.
Same thing with Desiree, same thing.
See, you guys, your road trips are in like places where you can see things, man. Like try doing a road trip from Winnipeg to Brampton, and you're gonna do a lot of podcasts. We used to like download the 90s playlist, like the Now. Remember those Now CDs with all like the various artists? Like we're like going through nostalgia, just trying to like keep awake on a highway to nothing for most of it. So yeah, man. I like my podcast, but I will admit, I don't listen to as many as like you think I would, because like I'm like I'm just doing podcasts all the time. Where sometimes like I'll listen to like lo-fi music, like I'll listen to things like just beats and stuff to like relax. But in the car, like I get all my podcasts done, all my saved episodes get listened to, and all those old playlists, man. I get it.
I gotta ask you a follow-up question. Podcast-wise, are you like true crime? Are you listening to basketball podcasts? Like, what kind of podcasts are you into?
Oh, a lot of comedy, a lot of Christian, and a lot of basketball. Like I listen to, the Deep Three. I listen to the JJ Rex old podcast. I listen to the Mind the Game podcast, the Crash Them. I think I have like total. I probably listen to probably like 7 to 8 podcasts. Like
it's hard to add any more.
I'm a big guy. Right? I'm just hearing people talk and then hearing their opinions and then seeing how it goes. Like, but yeah, I'm a big guy. I mean, obviously, if there's someone else in the car, I'll put on the music.
Right.
I'll put on the music for sure. But then when it's me and my own, this is for sure a podcast guy.
Yeah, Target Score Brampton's up there in your podcast list. Probably tuning into a little Target Score Winnipeg.
I'm going to add after this.
Target Score Vancouver. He's just like knowing everything that's going on across the league. Okay, so we'll stick with kind of on that. It's not really the same subject. As we've well documented, Mark Cuban is involved with the Brampton Honey Badgers as part of the ownership group. So Mark Cuban decides he's going to host a Brampton Honey Badgers Shark Tank, a.k.a. the OG Dragon's Den, that airs on CBC, which is the network we air our games on. So he says, hey, we're going to have a Brampton Honey Badgers Shark Tank / Dragon's Den. What are you pitching to Mark Cuban?
Oh.
I'm glad you asked this question, because during my last year at SMU, we had a project to do a little Shark Tank thing and make a project of our invention, and my group won.
Nice.
What was the pitch?
And I came up with the idea. Now I'll give you a little bit of it because I don't want no way to use it, and then I see it, 4 months later. But I'll just say it was an app to help athletes and agents connect better.
Oh,
more of of like a kind of caught it like not Instagram, but more of just like a platform for players to see agents, they can scroll through their portfolio, scroll through that, and it's better of a one-on-one rather than Instagram of guys DM each other. But that's
like
all
LinkedIn.
I'll say. But just know that our team won. So if Mark Cuban asks about an idea, I'll be the first one to raise my hand.
I love it.
That's impressive. I like that. I you know what's funny? I feel like we could ask that question to every player that comes to this podcast. I don't think anyone's going to be more prepared than you were. It was like you were waiting for us to ask that question.
I was so glad.
All right, Keon, you've made a living off of rebounding the basketball. I want to know who your Mount Rushmore of rebounding is.
Oh, let's see. We got. Well, is it all time or is it NBA?
All time. You can do anyone you want. Yes.
I'm going to say for sure Matthew Moncrief, because that man will get a 2020 one game for sure.
Okay.
Then I got to obviously bring back, honestly, I'm going to say Jokic, because that man Jokic, he'll get like 30 rebounds and then call it a day. Obviously, you got, I'll say DeAndre Jordan, Andre Drummond, and then finally, Russell Westbrook. He's the best rebounding guard of all time. So I'll say he's for sure. But yeah, I'll say those are my 5.
Yeah, Jokic is so interesting to me because he's not like, he doesn't, like athletically, he doesn't get his rebounds. It's just he always is in the right spot, right? Like his position is getting rebounds.
And guys don't know, that's a big thing because even with our team, we focus on, our coach really tells us to try to be in the right spots because just being in the right spot, you don't have to put as much effort. Like a lot of guys will try to, including me, I'll try to pin my guy under the rim to try to get the ball, but you don't have to get so close to the rim to just get the ball because usually, especially nowadays, a lot of more three-point shots are happening during the game. So a three-point shot's going to go farther rebound. So being in the right spot really does matter.
You know what? I think, too, like, Jokic is going to be a dude that's going to be studied, like, when his career's said and done. Because I think there's, like, a new conversation out here, and it's happened in multiple sports, like, especially in Canada with hockey, right? All these kids were playing hockey all year, not any other sports, and now we're learning, like, maybe if you play another sport, it helps with your development and things like that. But I think with him, too, because, like, you look at him, doesn't look like your typical basketball player. His IQ is crazy, and he has interest outside of basketball. Like I love those clips where it looks like he doesn't care, or those like post game clips where he's like, I just want to go home. I don't want to go to a parade, and like just like the anti like basketball player greats as we know them almost. But I do think there's some value in there in terms of like, you know, from the conditioning and all the other things, but some of the areas he's like thrived in the game, and also how basketball isn't like his everything. It's kind of weird. It's been so like jarring, I guess would be the word to see from a fan standpoint of just like how he's approached the game.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I mean, and then just like the way everyone says about the eye test, but like, shoot, at this point, the eye test of Jokic, like, he's dominant. He's dominant, and he's dominant in all the right ways, not just like, you know, brute strength, but more of just like, you know, intelligence. And I feel like that's where the games we're going more towards of teams are beating each other off strategy and, you know, wits, not just about brutal strength.
So, okay, I'm going to go back to a Mark Cuban question in a second, but since we're on this topic, what do you do outside of basketball to kind of get your mind off it? Do we see you at the Woodbine racetrack? Do you have any horses like Jokic, or do you have any other interests that you do to kind of get away from the game?
Nah, I ain't got none of that. I ain't no gambling, man. I can't do all that. That'd be my whole life if I ever got into that. But I mean, for me, I'm a very relaxed guy, obviously. But I would say for me, it's like honestly, it's because of my girlfriend. But she really gets me out there of traveling. Like when I was in Belgium, we went to Paris, we went to Amsterdam, Netherlands, all that type of stuff. Even when I was at Edmonton after the season, we went to Banff. So she made me more of like a nature kind of person. So we do like a lot of hiking, you know, camping, stuff like that. And then also I'm a food guy. I'm a food guy for sure. You know, I love trying new foods, going to different restaurants, especially with my mom. We try to you know try different kinds of foods, different kind of cultures, and then yeah, I'm big on just trying new things in general. You know, any kind of activities, any kind of adventures, I'm all about that.
I've
Nice.
I've got one more question, and you kind of stole my question. This one comes from Matt. You know, we both noticed that we noticed that you were a foodie through your socials. You obviously spent time, you know, in Texas, being an SMU grad as well. So, I need your barbecue insight. We talked to Serta because he's given us, you know, some barbecue spots. But there are any barbecue spots that you really, really love in the city, or even stuff in Texas that you still think about that keep you up at night?
Oh my goodness. I wish I could remember. I don't remember in Toronto because I'm still trying to find some good barbecue spots. But oh man, I miss Dallas in terms of the barbecue foods. I forget there was one Jerry Blacks or Jerry something. Oh my goodness. I went there 3 times. One with my mom, one with my dad, and then one by myself because I had to go back just for them briskets. But oh man, it was Jerry something. I can't put my finger on it. But yeah, I think for sure Dallas, it doesn't come close in terms of their food. Like the fact that before they open, which is like I think it's like some places like 2 o'clock, there'll be a line at 12 because the
Damn.
food is just so great. It's just the cornbread, the briskets, you know, the chicken, all that, the ribs. But like anyone who has not been to Dallas, you have to see their barbecue. It is unreal.
Is it Jerry
Okay.
Black's barbecue? Does that sound right?
I think it might be. I was thinking Jerry Black's, but I didn't want to be wrong. But I think it is Jerry Black's.
Okay, yeah, that's the first one that came up
Yeah,
on the internet, so maybe that's what it is.
there we
Okay.
go. Yeah.
Nice. The old Google machine comes through again. Okay. Going back to the whole Dragon's Den Shark Tank thing. On your current team, your current teammates, out of them, who's most likely to become a billionaire entrepreneur after their basketball career?
Oh, I know what he's
Oh
gonna
man.
say. I have a feeling just based on the last social
This
video
is
that
his
came
segment, D.
out,
This is his segment.
I got an inclination.
Oh man. Oh man. I want to say Danilo. Oh, I want to say Danilo. I want to say Prince. We got a lot of smart guys. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna say about the big old Harvard dude. Come on, like
That's what I
it's the
thought you were
Harvard
gonna
man
say.
himself. Like I mean, I want to think of someone else, but like it's gotta be the big old Harvard man. Like Dan, like D, he knows his stuff. And like when it comes to even when we had a question about who you survive on the island, like I'm going with D because he knows what to do. He's very smart, very calm, and he has great ideas. And of course, he went to Harvard. Like anyone who goes to Harvard, it's an automatic.
Yeah, that last video, everyone picked Danilo because he was so smart. So naturally, you'd think
Yes.
he would be the one to become a billionaire.
And he has his own book. Shout out
Yeah,
to
show his
shout out
book.
to the
Right.
new book he made. He's a whole new book. Like he's making plans, so he's gonna get there. He's in the starting gate. He's gonna get there.
Do you what sector is it in? Like, is he going to be like? Will it be in books? Will it be tech? Like, where do you think he finds his money?
I definitely think it'll be something about giving. Giving, like the books is about giving to kids. It's definitely something to give because he's a great guy, positive guy who wants to be positive to other people. So it's definitely in the things of giving. Tech, I don't know.
That's your space. That's your
That's
space.
your space. Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. You got to
His
keep him
laptop
as
was kinda
far
old
away from tech as
the
you
high
can.
school laptop, so I don't know, but it could be tech.
Yeah.
No, you got to keep him away from tech.
Yeah,
dude.
don't tell him
like,
about your
that's
app, man, because
space.
he'll take it and he'll run with it.
Yeah, that is your space, man. You got to talk him away from tech by all means necessary, I think.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I should not. Yeah, I should definitely not. I should probably make sure he does not see this.
I was gonna
Oh
say,
yeah, they didn't have an episode this week.
I was gonna say, I don't know if
Okay,
you know, but
okay,
he was
yeah,
he was the guest before you, so I think he will be tapped in.
Oh
so
no.
we'll have to
Okay,
make sure
well
not
I'm
to tell
gonna
him.
make sure that when I go on his Spotify, I'm gonna take his phone, go on his Spotify, just tap watch for this episode, so that he won't get the notification.
I love it.
Because he'll definitely do this.
Well, listen,
He'll do it way better
Keon,
than me.
it was your first Target Time appearance here on the podcast, and you survived. So congratulations. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us. And I'm going to be there at the game on Saturday, and I'll be covering the sidelines as per usual. And I was already excited, but now you got me a little more excited. So I can't wait. And best of luck to you this weekend, my guy.
Thank you both of you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
What a conversation. That was a lot of fun, eh, Joey?
Oh man, it's so funny, right? You get these players in this kind of environment where they get to just kind of open up and have a little fun, man. Keon is one of the more fun dudes in this league, and it was fun to get to know things outside of basketball. I mean, we know what he's done basketball wise, and this is a guy like, on the rise in his career. He's early in his career. He's got a long way to go. It's great to hear the love for Canadian pro basketball and, everything that it's brought on. But, it's fun to get to know these guys and what they are away from the floor. And he did not disappoint.
Yeah, and we've spoken about it ad nauseum at this point. Super Saturday, this Saturday, your Sea Bears versus, the
Well, they're
Vancouver
David
guys.
Asper Sea Bears. I don't want people to get confused thinking that I own the team.
That's true. And Brampton and Scarborough on the other side. Will we see a cross podcast with you and the Vancouver guys? Like that seems like it needs to happen, right?
Yeah, it'll definitely be with Chris Wiggins. We have a bit of a crossover. We tried to do it last week, didn't work out. So we're gonna do it this week. And I'm looking forward because we play I hate saying Winnipeg plays Vancouver 2 more times after this one. So I'm hoping to. And Brampton's still coming here. So we have to have our crossover too in July. I think it's like July 5th or something. I can't remember the exact date, but yeah, we'll have a crossover too. But those are always fun when we get to go head to head.
Yeah. So, tune in. You can check out our new podcasts and new episodes every Wednesday with new guests, and obviously a little tease of Joey and Wiggs later on in the week as well. And again, both of our teams will be playing on Saturday, so make sure you're tapped in for that as well. Joey, it's been such a joy. I'm glad. I hate that it's taken this long, but it's lived up to all the expectations I could have had for this conversation. So thanks for joining me, and good luck heading into the game on Saturday.
Appreciate it, man. Enjoy the game on Saturday. Thanks for having me, and we'll do it again soon.